Our journey today brings us to the Cambridge Polymer Labs. This place is just south of the police station, and once you're in the area you can get yourself a nice, unique piece of power armour in the form of a T-51 torso. Once you're inside, you'll be greeted by a Mr. Handy called Molly. She'll ask you some questions which may lead you to getting some free items. If you become the sales executive, you'll get a suit. If you become the janitor, you'll get a mechanic jumpsuit. And if you become security, you'll get a dirty army fatigues as well as a shock baton. The reception area has plenty of items for you to loot. This place also has a very large quantity of microscopes. So if you need crystal or just anything microscopes break down into, this is the place you want to visit. There's some bathrooms and a boardroom over to the left side, and to the right there's a staircase taking you up to the main offices and the final room. But don't worry, I'll show you how to unlock that as we progress through here. Into the kitchen, you'll get a Nuka-Cola Quantum that always spawns. It would be useful to bring Curie to this place as it helps advance her affinity once you finish the quest. Molly will take you into this decontamination room if you do decide to chat to her. And when you continue through, you can kind of completely bypass her if you want. Just go into the room here and activate that, and you should be good to go. Don't worry, that's how you exit. So we'll go in, the door will close behind you, you'll get an automated system playing some information, and the quest will begin. Now, what I want to show you is the 3 items that you'll want to pick up. There are, I believe, 6 of these unidentified samples. You need 3 of them in order to put them into these little chemical reagents here to make the power armor that we're looking for. If you pick up all 6, 3 of them will remain in your inventory for the rest of the game, and it can be a little annoying as they can't be dropped because they're quest items. Now, let's have a read of Erica's terminal here. Nucleostrictive Lining Project. This place did, well, according to Molly, help with Liberty Prime and said that he helped in Anchorage. However, that conflicts with Fallout 3, where Liberty Prime hadn't been finished yet and never joined the Battle of Anchorage. A little bit of a canon dispute, but we'll get right into it. So, the project thesis for this. Initial studies have led us to hypothesize that by taking a known piezoelectric material, lead zirconium titanite, and properly applying a polymer of gold and lithium hydrate, that a localized conversion of ionizing radiation to electrical energy might be achieved. It's a bit of a mouthful there, but this method of compact energy harvest may prove suitable for application to pre-existing power armor units used by the US Armed Forces. This is by Dr. Erica Elwood-Woolham. Thermal dissipation. Initial tests have proved that the methodology is sound. Radioactive energy harvest is 15 times higher than current automotive fusion engines. Unfortunately, there are still problems we need to overcome. The ionic excitation in the gold that produces the harvestable electrons also create a buildup of thermal waste. The heat is not substantial, but from a macro perspective, due to the low shear modulus, and the gold suspension in the nanoweave starts to break down quickly under extended use. We're going to attempt to change the dosing pattern on the gold to produce a thinner strand through the material. The increased surface area should help dissipate the thermal energy, much like a heatsink. Tensile strain. The newer dosing patterns have been successful at dissipating the heat generated by the reaction. We've taken a slight hit to the harvest efficiency, but extended the static material lifetime from a matter of days to years. While this is, from our perspective, already a successful experiment, the project parameters require a flexible lining that can be applied to power armor. It seems we underestimated the tensile strain the armor produces, and the thinner gold weave in the material ends up shredding, so to speak, under heavy use. Colonel Kemp was less than pleased and threatened to pull the funding if we can't produce the promised results. So we need to go back to the thicker weave and find a way to solve the thermal dissipation issue. Trapped. We've been trapped in the lab for days now and tensions are running high. The team is fractured and fallen apart. They don't know what is going on outside and have started making attempts to escape the lab. While I was sleeping, they managed to cut a hole through the thinner interior wall of the clean room, but we've been unable to break through the hardened outer wall. Will started talking about some of the others about going at the problem from a more oblique angle, which got me thinking about the thermal dissipation problem when it dawned on me. If we change dosing pattern so it isn't producing nano holes perpendicular to the surface but instead at an angle, we might be able to reflect most of the direct radioactive particles and trapping only those coming in at an oblique angle to the material. We would achieve a lower energy harvest, but the heat dissipation issues might be solved. Tom, Mary and I are going to gather the samples that we need. We're so close, we've been unable to gather the samples needed to try the new dosing pattern. Will locked himself in one of the labs and has been attempting to hack into the administrative systems. When we tried to get the U238 we need from the isotope containment, he locked it down, leaving Mary stranded inside. He said he's going to set the facility defense systems so that it looks like the lab has been breached. This will unlock the clean room, but will activate the automated defenses that will see us as attackers. He means to fight his way out, but that's suicide. He's the only one in the lab with military training, and we don't even have real weapons. I've tried to tell him that we can complete the project and that we have the answer now, but he refuses to see reason and doesn't believe John will actually let us out. We've managed to pull down part of the ceiling in C1, which will get us into the utility crawl space. It can't get us out, but it should be able to get us above the lab Will has barricaded himself in. I don't like it, but we have to get the drop on him. Internal mail relay. So this is from W. Bergman. I'm getting us out. I'm not letting John play tyrant any longer. John, of course, is the director whose office you've seen at the start of the game above Molly. The isotope containment is leaking and he still won't let us out. I've gotten through his updated security subroutines. It's only a matter of time till I get control of the facility's defences. He's so busy trying to keep me out of the clean room, he probably hasn't realised that by triggering a facility breach sweep, all the doors will open, which will allow the robots access. We're fighting our way out, and then I'll deal with your husband. So, obviously, she was married to John. Erica, John, of course. Erica, I've set an explanation to the team, but I need you to know what's actually going on. Please do not share this with anyone, it may start a panic. This morning I got a call from Colonel Kemp, and he told me to keep our team in the lab. But before I asked, he hung up. The sound you heard outside was an atomic bomb going off. It seems to have hit southwest of the city. The phone lines have been jammed, but I found a way to reach Kemp's liaison, and he informed me they can only afford a detail to escort us to safety if we have vital military assets or intelligence. That is why we need the project finished. I love you and I know you can do this. Mandatory overtime. Good morning, everyone. I know you've all been here overnight and everyone is just tired, but I need everyone to push through a little longer. Dr. Elwood has said that you are very close to cracking the problem with a nucleostrictive lining project, and I have a good feeling that today will be the day. Along with our normal snacks, I've sent a runner to Slocum's Joe for coffee and donuts. We'll be ordering Spuckies later this afternoon, and I also got off the phone with Colonel Kemp. He said there may be some training exercises happening in town today, so if you hear what sounds like tanks or gunfire, don't panic, it is just a drill. Okay, we've learned a lot as to what's going on here. So, when the bombs fell, John, the director, completely closed the place down. His office is actually right up there. Now, there are a lot of ferals, and presumably they are all the ex-staff members who were trapped in here. Now, if we open this door and go into the supply closet, you can get yourself unknown sample 3111. You will need it to, make the power armor. Opening the next door, we go into C4. Moving along, there's another canister. We don't need that one. We also don't need the one that's actually beside the console over there. But the one we do need is going to be in here. This is where you can find the uranium as well as unidentified sample 65, which again, we don't need. Now, you can unlock this containment terminal via the novice terminal here, or you can get the password upstairs. I'll show you where the holotape is. Although, considering it would have made more sense if this was like a master lock, I don't know why it isn't. Leak detected and radioactive isotope containment. Personnel are advised to evacuate until proper maintenance can be performed. Now, just open the door here. If you do need a hazmat suit for this particular place, do not worry. All you need to do is grab the one that's up here. I should have mentioned it when we were in the storage room. But now that you know, you can go and grab it. Now, to access this place, just nip in through here. There is going to be a glowing one, which isn't Mary. I presume that's Mary. Or maybe you are Mary. Either way, would have been cool if they were named. Heading on in here, we can get U238, a uranium, or well, just some uranium. Now, the one we got, I believe, was lithium hydrate. We need gold. Gold can be found up here. So, if we have a look around the offices, there is another terminal you can access. This terminal belonged to Mary, the one that got trapped inside the reactor room. So she had one from John Elwood, which contained this one. Everyone needs to calm down. Yes, if you've heard, I have locked you out of the clean room. As my previous email stated, this push to finish the project is mandatory. As soon as I have the data for a successful prototype, I'll unlock the door and everyone's free to go home. To address concerns about the noise outside, those are military exercises I mentioned. I'm aware they're very loud and you've been disturbed by it, but I assure you everything's fine. Though we are not openly at war, things are tense and the military feels that ground defence exercises are necessary for our safety. Finishing the project here is vital to the company, but also vital to helping protect our country. And then another thing about the mandatory overtime. Okay, so Mary's terminal also unlocks the safe if you need that. But yeah, as I was saying, the isotope terminal would have made a whole lot more sense if it was in fact a master lock, because then you would have had to have went this route in order to, you know, get the password. Now, inside of here, there's another feral just lying about, and lots of supplies. Lots and lots. This isotope 49 we don't need. Again, if you pick any of these up, it will be stuck in your inventory in the miscellaneous and you will not be able to remove it. Everyone else left tried to get into Bergman's lab to get the password for the isotope containment, but he rigged some kind of gun. Erica was killed. Most of my hair is gone from the radiation and I can barely see. There's no way I can finish the research on my own now, so I've chosen to make it a quicker end. John Elwood, I'll see you in hell. Tom Franklin. And he took the rat poison and the teapot route. What a way to go. Okay, so this is the ventilation system that they mentioned they pried open. Working your way along here, we can get into the room that Bergman had set himself up. As you can see, I believe this is the body of Mary as they tried to breach the place. And, well, there is a ghoul in here and also a mine, which will set up the Tesla Arc as well, so you'll have to deal with all of these things. Once you do, you can gain access to Bergman's terminal, but more importantly, unidentified sample 611. That is gold, and that's the last one we need. So we can read about the isotope containment system, which is where he remotely locked Mary in. The facility defenses from here can be emergent. You can do the emergency override, and that'll activate the turrets. It will let you out. So if you just go straight to this terminal, if you had no interest in collecting everything else, you'll still have to run by the ghouls, but you can just use this and get out that way. And then locked by J. Elwood. Internal mail relay. So, isotope containment. Well, this is insane. Even if you manage to hack into the administrative controls, do you know what will happen if you trigger a security breach? Yes, the doors will open, the clean room will be open, but the first thing that will come through them are robots to kill every living intruder in the lab. Even if we manage to get past them, there are also turrets. There's one right here in the lab, remember. If you do this, you're more likely to get us all killed than set us free. Well, Fred, do you think I wouldn't catch on to what you're doing? I got a network alert the moment you took control of the isotope containment. You may have been the best hacker on campus at CIT, but that was years ago, and while you were busy in Alaska pretending to be a soldier, we had the best programmers working on our security system. I told you weeks ago I'll let you out when you finish the research. Locking Erica and the rest of the team out doesn't, just despite me, doesn't accomplish anything. Mandatory overtime, we read through that, and the deleted one. Server errors, there was one, what are you doing? You're going to get us all killed. Can't cut through, I'm with you, and about the new dosing pattern. So you can see they obviously were trying to fix things at the time. Now this will let you out, so just crack open the security door. And with the 3 samples that you have procured, we can get ourselves this cool piece of power armor. All you have to do is place this one, and the isotope being uranium-238. So, now that we've got all this, we can open it up. Check current fabrication meters. Yep. So we've got lithium hydride and gold. When you put in the other samples, it will tell you what they are. I think one's gallium, and there's a couple of others. Hydrochloric acid, I think, is another one. Again, the only issue being we don't need them. They'll be stuck in your inventory. I wish I didn't pick them up in my game. So you've been warned. Anyway, the scan's complete. Run load time fabrication with these 3 things. I mean, the isotope you can't really mess up. The 2 samples, though, and one of the terminals, I think it does actually mention it. So let's have a little look here as it gets produced. And it'll be dumped nicely into here. The piezo-nucleic power armor chest piece. Radiation exposure increases your AP refresh rate. It's also pretty good for everything else. So that's worth a fair bit as well. Now that you've got all that, it's not over. Because we need to go back into the clean room. Now, that will open the door. I mean, it didn't really matter, I suppose. But the robots, they will flood in. And they'll be a problem. But not to worry. Once you deal with all that, we can mosey our way through. And up the stairs. On to the next level. In here's just loads of filing cabinets. If you've unlocked the Brotherhood by this point, they tend to have a lot of technical documents. I got about 6 or 7, so fair wee source for them inside this building. Again, for the massive office place, you can just find loads in the desks. Now, this master lock door. I should have quickly mentioned that the director's key can be found on Molly after you finish. There is a peaceful route. You don't actually have to kill her. But in this instance, we had to. So, now that we've got the key, we can return to the master lock door. You can bypass everything. If the only thing you're looking is the skill book itself, which is over here, the Massachusetts Surgical Journal, which will give you 2% extra limb damage permanently. Scars are cool. This one is named just the director, but this is John Elwood. There's a fusion core and just a few other wee pieces just scattered around his office here. And outside you can see the lab in the background and all his co-workers. John actually had to watch them like bicker and fight, and it must have been a really bad position to be in, because obviously he wanted them to finish the project so he could actually get them all out of there. But if he was a little more open with that, it might have, fixed things. Personal logs. A call from Kemp. Just got a very strange call from Colonel Kemp. He asked what the status in the project was, and when I explained we're still behind schedule, he didn't seem angry like he normally would. All he said was that it was very important I keep him and the team working in the lab today, and that I contact him as soon as the project was complete. It almost feels like he was trying to tell me something, but I can't imagine what. He was trying to warn me they hit us with a nuke. The lab was built to withstand nearly anything but a direct hit, but the EMP has blown out all external communications. I told the team there are training maneuvers going on around town, but I don't know how long they're going to bat. I need to find a way to get a hold of Colonel Kemp to see if they can extract us to a safe location. Even if I can find a working phone somewhere, I'll never be able to get through. Maybe if I can get a hold of a ham radio, I can try and reach out in an open channel. I have to finish the project. There are looters everywhere and people fighting in the streets. I managed to find a radio and some supplies, but I caught a stray bullet in the shoulder on the way back. Between that and the radiation sickness, the past 36 hours have been hell. I managed to find the right frequency and get through to a military liaison. But he said that Kemp had left orders they could only spare an extraction team for assets vital to the war effort. If we try to get us out without the project complete, he'll have us executed for treason. I have to keep them in the lab to finish the project. Can't hold out much longer. There's a problem with the reactor. The shockwave from the initial blast must have cracked the containment lining because there's a growing leak showing the detectors in the lab. To make matters worse, Will has been trying to hack into the administrative controls. I've been working to keep him out, but I think the wound in my shoulder may be going septic, and I don't know how much longer I can hold out. So he was actually dying as things were going on. Erica, I'm sorry. I know I haven't been the best husband, but I've done everything I can to protect you since the attack. If you're reading this, I hope it's because you finished the project and can use the radio to signal for extraction. I can't hold out any longer. Internal mail relay from him. John, are you there? I can't see you moving in your office and we can't wait any longer. He's going to trigger the automated defenses if we don't do something. We managed to get into the crawl space and are going to try and take him by surprise. Despite everything that's happened, I want you to know I still love you. I'm getting us out of here, you son of a bitch. Do you hear me, John? You have had the connections to get this company started, but I was always the better hacker. If you don't release this, you'll leave me with no choice but to trigger the automated defenses. We'll have to fight our way through, and Erica may be hurt in the process. Is that what you want? I've got the thermal problem solved, but we need samples to produce a prototype. Will's barricaded himself in a lab and locked us out from the isotope containment. I've told the others what's going on, and they hate us for it, but they see this was the only way out. We need you to get back in control so we can finish the project and get out of here. Confidential. John, I don't know if we can do it. We've been working on the problem for weeks, and we've been unable to find a way to prevent the nanowave from falling apart under the strain of use. Even if we find a solution, it may take us days to program a new dosing pattern, and I don't know if I can cover this up that long. Even if I can, I don't know if it's the right decision for us to make. Some of them have families out there. Shouldn't they have the choice to try and protect them? Deleted mail. You can see what's going on in there. You can't keep us locked in here. What you're doing is illegal. I need to get home to my kids, and I can't call out of the lab. So you can see it was complete panic here. Once you deal with the director, he drops a random assortment of items for you. And that pretty much will conclude the Cambridge Polymer Labs. You leave with a snazzy piece of power armour. And yeah, the location of it, it's actually more or less the centre of the map. It's south of the Cambridge Police Station, College Square, and north of Diamond City, just across the river near the CIT ruins. Thank you for watching.